After losing everything, my savings, my confidence, and nearly my sanity, in 6 brutal years of trading, I finally cracked the code to consistent profit. Today, I'm revealing the 5 game-changing lessons that turned me from a broke beginner to a profitable trader. These are the secrets I wish I knew before wasting 20,000 hours and blowing multiple accounts. Secrets that could save you years of pain and fast-track your path to financial freedom. So stick around till the end, because Lesson 5 will change how you trade forever. Now, the first lesson I learned is that I was losing far more than I was winning. It's not about whether you're right or wrong. It's about how much money you make when you're right and how much money you lose when you're wrong. After losing money for a long time, I finally had a moment of self-awareness, and I realized my problem was that I was losing more than I was gaining, even though I was taking trades with a favorable risk-to-reward ratio. I kept ending that month at a loss because I just kept on cutting my winners way too early and letting my losses run for way too long. And after reviewing my trading journal, I saw that I wasn't sticking to my risk-to-reward plan. I'd sometimes move my stop loss further away or push my take profit farther when my trade was already in profit. These small adjustments added up over time because as humans, we're wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. We naturally always want to be right, which often causes us to let losses run in hopes that that loss will come back. And we also do the same with winners, but instead we start closing them early. This realization was a turning point. And I understood that I needed to do the exact opposite. I needed to ensure that my winners were larger than my losses, stick to my stop loss religiously, and let my take profit get hit. Once I implemented this discipline, my results improved dramatically. And this brings me on to the second lesson, which is losing trades is not a setback. There's opportunities to learn from each loss. I always tell my students that any loss can be turned into a win if you learn from it. To trade long term, you must change your mindset around losses. Think of trading as a business. Every expense, including losses, is all a part of the process. The best traders analyze their losses carefully to prevent them from making the same mistakes repeatedly. When I place a trade, I never assume it will go my way. That's what stop losses are for, to protect you from losing more money when the trade doesn't work out. Proper risk management allows you to react and pivot when needed. Not every loss is a bad thing. Sometimes losses are part of the learning process, especially if you followed your plan and used proper risk controls. A good loss occurs when you stick to your plan and risk management, even if the trade doesn't turn out as planned. A bad loss happens when you trade impulsively, emotionally, or without a plan. Recognizing and learning from these losses is crucial. Sometimes a bad loss can teach you your most valuable lesson. Pain is a great teacher if you use it wisely. It can really fuel your growth. I personally learned a lot about psychology and risk management after blowing several accounts. Those painful experiences were ultimately blessings in disguise. Losses are inevitable, even with the best setups. The key is to learn from them and keep your losses smaller than your winners, and avoid beating yourself up. If you follow your plan and risk management rules, any trade can be considered a success, regardless of the outcome. Now, the third lesson I had to learn was that trading and life is very similar to a video game. When I was younger, I was addicted to gaming. After school, I would dive straight into games like Roblox, Call of Duty, and GTA. And I stayed up late until night playing. It would get to a point where my mom would even get upset at me because I wouldn't listen or do my homework. Sometimes I would sneak and turn my PlayStation on after she went to bed, and guess what? I would wake up the next day tired for school, neglecting my studies, and guess what? My grades also suffered. And one day, my mom got so mad at me that she smashed my laptop right in front of me. I was so furious that I ran away from my house for a few hours. And looking back at that, I understand why she reacted that way. Video games became my escape from reality. I'd imagine myself driving fancy cars and living in luxury, escaping the reality that I was in right now. I felt like a failure in real life, and I was afraid to face the truth that I was broke, insecure, and lonely. And I would use video games as an escape. From a young age, we're indoctrinated to believe in the traditional path to success. Go to school, get a degree, find a good job, and retire comfortably. But the system doesn't have to define your life. You don't have to settle for a boring, mediocre existence. That's why mastering trading is so powerful. It's one of the few ways to escape the system and gain true freedom, financial freedom, location independence, and freedom of time. These privileges are mostly accessible to the top 1% of traders. But video games are fun because they involve leveling up and earning rewards. And trading and life are basically the same. The more you work on your trading skills, the more you level up in life, the more you improve, the more rewards you'll earn. But when you pick a market to trade, it's like selecting your character. Developing your skills is like leveling up your avatar. When you start earning money, you're earning points for your character. Now, speaking of video games, I spent over $100,000 on creating what some would call a cheat code for the trading industry. As most of you know, AI is taking over and will eventually take over the market as time goes on. So I combined AI with my trading strategy to create a trading bot. This bot will tell you exactly when to exit and enter a trade, and it has helped hundreds of members make profits. And it hasn't even reached its full potential yet. If you want to try it out, then just check out the link in my bio. But you want to make sure you choose your market wisely. Keep expanding your knowledge, improve your skills every single day, and keep leveling up. As you do, you unlock new levels in your trading journey and continue progressing towards your goals. Now, the fourth lesson that I had to learn, which was very critical, was that I had to reclaim my focus. As I mentioned, I spent most of my teenage years playing video games and wasting time on other distractions. And guess what? That led me down a dark path of depression and frustration. Today, with distractions like TikTok, Netflix, and Instagram, staying focused is more important than ever if you want to succeed as a trader. Your focus determines your success. Whatever you invest your attention into, combined with consistent effort over time, shapes your life. Spend all your time playing video games and watching Netflix, and you'll go nowhere. But dedicate yourself to studying trading, and you'll get ahead of the rest of the 90%. Results may not be immediate, and progress might seem slow at first. But if you keep at it for years, the difference will be enormous. Remember, traders don't get paid for how hard they work. They get paid for making the best possible decisions. To do that, your mind must be sharp and focused. For example, if you're a scalper and you enter a trade that demands your full attention, but then your phone vibrates with a message and you decide you need to check that message, you've already made a mistake. Reaching for your phone in that moment causes you to lose focus and could cause you to miss a big move. Trust your analysis, but when it's time to focus, give it your full attention. Close all distractions and lock in. Be fully present, because there's always someone on the other side who's more disciplined and more focused than you. That's the competitive edge. Now finally, the lesson that I had to learn, which was the most important lesson of all, was that trading is 90% psychology. There's a famous quote by Mark Douglas that says, "The consistency you seek isn't in the market, it's in your mind." Every successful trader will tell you that mastering your psychology is the key to long-term success. Many beginners focus solely on analysis, trying to find the perfect strategy through YouTube or TikTok, which doesn't exist. They jump from one method to another, never staying consistent. But without discipline and mental mastery, your results will always be inconsistent. The top boxers say their biggest opponent is themselves. If they drink or smoke daily, their own habits are gonna be holding them back. The same thing applies to traders. You are your biggest enemy. If you don't follow your plan, you get emotional, or hold on to losses for way too long, you need to develop trading discipline. Control your emotions and stick to your strategy. Many people try to sell you their so-called holy grail strategy, but The truth is that it doesn't exist. Success comes from understanding yourself, controlling your mind, and maintaining discipline. If you're serious about becoming a better trader, focus on these psychological tips. Stick to your trading plan. Know exactly when to enter and exit trades. Always use a stop loss. Never trade based off of emotion. Learn from your losses. Focus on quality over quantity. Decrease your screen time to avoid analysis paralysis. Be patient and wait for the right setup. Well, that's it for today. If you found any value in this, please like and subscribe for the algorithm. And if you want to see how I made $30,000 off of one swing trade in 2 days, click right here. Until next time.